Alright, Professor Jim Schultz here from my Finance 670 class. As promised, I wanted to go ahead and do a video solution here for at least one of your risk return problems. I'll probably only do one because all of these problems are very, very similar. So once you do it once, twice, three times, then you're pretty much all set. You're ready to go. You're going to have the skills that I'm looking for, from this section of the class. So let's go ahead and knock out this first problem here where you're dealing with Walmart, ticker symbol WMT. So you have a very basic states of nature table right here with good, average, and bad, their corresponding probabilities, and then the stock's return given those different states. Alright, so what I'm going to do is we're going to walk through how to crank out the expected return and the standard deviation using the tools and the skills that you learned in the risk and return video lecture discussion that I've already posted. Okay, so I'm looking for the expected return. So what is the expected return going to be? It's just going to be a weighted average across the probabilities and the returns. In other words, it's going to be P1 times R1 plus P2 times R2 plus P3 times R3, which is exactly what you see right here, right? There's P1, there's R1, there's P2, there's R2, there's P3, there's R3. So that breaks down into these terms, and then you end up with an expected return of 5.3%, right? So pretty quick, pretty simple. Nothing too magical here, just pretty basic stuff that really, again, all you need to do is practice this a couple times and you should be all set. So now I'm going to move down to the standard deviation. Now to find the standard deviation, I'm going to use the 5 steps that I outlined in the lecture video discussion for standard deviation. The 5 steps are not listed here on the solution sheet, but if you look more closely at each of these corresponding rows, you can kind of see the 5 steps at work, right? So if you remember, what did I say? For each state, what do you need to do? You need to find the deviation from the mean, then you need to square it, then you need to multiply by the probability. Here's the deviation from the mean for the first state. I square that guy, I weight that guy by the probability, I get 0.00706. I repeat the same process for the next state, which would be average, and the next state, which would be bad, right? Deviation from the mean, squared, probability. Deviation from the mean, squared, probability. I get my terms, I sum those terms, that's 0.02315. This is your variance. That would be step 4 in the 5-step process. Then once you have that guy in place, you go ahead and just take its square root, and you get 15.22%. So again, really basic, really straightforward, just some calculations you need to practice a few times, and you guys should be all set. So that's a very brief video solution on how to solve for expected return and standard deviation.